So just recently, three of us went to the Fig Tree's 40th anniversary celebration, and it was really an amazing evening because it filled me with so much hope and inspiration and joy to be surrounded by all these people, maybe 150 about. All these people, different ethnicities and backgrounds, all working together and with this vision of peace and unity and community. And just being in that kind of environment really brings me a lot of hope. And seeing that the world isn't so chaotic and skewed like it seems sometimes. I really need these moments of inspiration. And we got there early, and everyone was sort of volunteering and helping to get things set up, pouring water, and everyone sharing and caring and just kind of talking and chatting with together. So it was really a beautiful evening. And I didn't have much experience with the fig tree before, but I'm really glad this magazine exists. It is all about hope and positivity and kind of counteracting the negative news that we see in mainstream news, which kind of divides and like brings up our afflictions really strongly in our face. So I'm glad that they have a different newspaper that sort of brings another side of the world, which I think is a little bit more accurate. Like normal people walking around, just going throughout their day, caring about their neighbors and communities and children. They're not trying to be aggressive. And I mean, they have these afflictions, but on a normal day, they're not really negative and attacking people like we see in the newspaper day after day after day. So I think I read a statistic that people who do read mainstream news regularly, they have a view on life that is more like the world is negative and everyone's out to get me and I need to like protect myself and be safe. And Venerable Kadro gave a BBC a couple months ago about, was it goodnews.org? Yeah, about this little boy who was raising money for, what was it for? Ukraine? Something. Yeah, so just these kinds of stories we really need in our life on an international, community, local level to really balance things out because the world can seem so skewed. Our attention really matters. We should be asking ourselves, where are we putting our attention? Is it to negativity and to violence and harm? Or are we focusing on the really beautiful, positive things that are happening in the world? And that can really uplift us and sort of balance things out so it's not so skewed. So even just this one edition from May, it has stories about Brianna, who's a fan organizer, who meets with people. This is like the interfaith dialogue that His Holiness talks about so much. People coming together and talking and sharing and not having all this tension that can come when we're so divided. And then there's stories about people who are raising these dogs who, what's it called? Like a therapy dog that helps people, you know, get through their day better and to feel like the world is safer. There's stories about people planting trees next to the river in Spokane so that Spokane can be a cooler, more enjoyable place for us to go to. So they're holding like 5 days where volunteers can just come out and plant trees. So our community can be cooler and more enjoyable to be in. So they're simple stories, but they're so necessary for us to see and engage with because they really can fill us with a lot of inspiration. They're doing it, we can do it too. The world isn't a scary place. There's so many great things that are happening. So in this magazine, I don't know, their slogan, they have a quote from the Bible from Micah 4:4, which says, let me see. Then they will beat their swords into plowshares and their spears into pruning hooks. This is from the Bible. Everyone will sit under their own vine and under their own fig tree, and no one will make them afraid. So yeah, on a physical level, there's the swords and the spears, and we have the biggest military in the US right now in the entire world. And I think this comes from this mind of like needing to protect with all this fear, thinking that the world is a scary place. But if we can move our attention to where is this fear coming from? Is it really founded? I ask myself this question a lot. When fear arises, when someone is approaching, and I perceive that criticism or maybe something scary has come my way, I have this same mind of fear. So I understand Putin's mind because it is in my mind also. I also have that fear and I want to protect myself. But when I dig a little bit deeper and ask myself, is this really valid? Do I really need to follow this fear and protect myself all the time? The answer is always no. I can change my mind, and by reading, what was it, Radical Acceptance? She talked a lot about how we need to feel safe. And so I'm constantly telling myself, I'm in a safe place. There's no need to worry. I'm with friends. There's no enemies here. So I can feel safe. I don't need to protect myself and be scared. I can just be happy and smile. That's what people like to see. So I can do that too, if that's what they're into. And I want to be around happy, smiling people. So I need to remind myself constantly that I can do that too, because it's reciprocal. And do we want to live in a world that's really scary and frowny and trying to protect itself? Or do we want to live in a world that's really happy and people are sharing and caring for each other? So it's all about the attention that we give. Like I've said many times before, there's this huge clean wall in a little tiny spot. And we focus on this little blotch, which is stain, messed up. And we put all of our attention there, and it seems like that's the only thing, and we're missing the whole big picture. So I really want to encourage people, if they get a chance, to read some good news, talk with their community, share good stories. We talked a lot about storytelling. The keynote speaker, she really focused on how we're all storytellers. What kind of stories are we telling? Are we telling stories of hope and unity and community? Or are we telling stories of fear and distance? So yeah, let's do that.